Baby. There we go. We are what they call live, right? There you
Love it.
go. Hey, this is Jason Bramlett. Joining me today, Real Estate Speed School, my friend Curtis Johnson. But hey, I'm gonna throw in this little ninja clip. Like this is pretty slick. I almost even know what I'm doing, Curtis. Check this out. Not a
Dude, I
bad
like
little
that.
intro,
I'm,
right?
I'm jacked up. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So, um, for those of you who may not know Curtis Johnson, I can't imagine that's very many people. But you are a West Coast guy, so hey,
The airfares and well, you know what? They did let us take the masks off now. I might travel
yes,
more.
yeah, there you go. Well, hey, we're gonna see you in Tampa, right?
Yeah, like in a couple weeks. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So that'll be good. That'll be good. Good event. A good event down there. So, all right. So today we are diving in real estate speed school, but we are gonna really just kind of break down some essential things. And there's there's really nobody out here that I know that's a better expert at bringing the heat when it comes to being a student of the game, being a student of the business, and I mean that's kind of your launch, right?
Yeah, I mean that's really how we met. That's how I've met most of my great friends in real estate. But that's one of the ways. I know you've sold thousands of houses. My team, we've sold over 6,000 houses here in Arizona. And I would say, 6,000 of them came because of being in the right rooms with the right people at the right time, right? Being
Yeah,
in there, learning a concept, learning a strategy to be able to survive during the rough times, be able to thrive
yeah,
during the good times, and then really be able to, you know, what's working in North Carolina, what's working in Florida, what's working in Washington, in Idaho, Utah, Texas, whatever, what are working there? Because Arizona is one of those things that's not kind of a good old boy network. Everyone's from somewhere else. Everybody comes to Arizona from somewhere else. So it's like everyone assumes just because everything's like cookie cutter,
right.
it's going to be really easy. Well, you got this melting pot of everything here. And so it's a little bit of North Carolina, a little bit of Texas, a little bit of California, a little bit
Right.
of all these different places. So picking up strategies that, it's about how do you collapse decades into days. And that's what I always look forward to mastermind with you at different places because, you're a master of that. You're able to, be observant enough to see what's going on and then be able to articulate that back in a usable form.
And then go do right. You got to
Yeah.
implement, man. It just you can have all the I believe me, you can get tons of head knowledge, but that doesn't push the needle, right? It
Yeah.
just does not push the needle. So yeah, for sure,
Right.
student of the game, and environment. Like,
Yeah.
who's your tribe? And what are
So
you
matter.
creating? What are you creating? Speak on that a little bit because I know that is with you and Dan and a lot of the guys that we're
Yeah.
working with all across the U.S. This is huge.
Well, I think that you can have great intentions, but if you're not surrounded by people that are supporting you and making you better, eventually you can't keep up on that, right? I say if you hang out with 9 broke people, you're going to be the 10th.
That's
And the
right.
same thing in my world is you hang out with 9 absolute ballers in real estate. Guess what? Like just trying to, cut out all the noise in it.
Yeah,
We all, at some point, we all want to be wanted. We all want to fit in, right? That's our tribal DNA is to survive, we want to be accepted in our community. And I tell
yeah,
people the problem isn't that you're not accepted. You're just accepted by the wrong people. You're accepted by you go to a realtor event and you fit right in, right? A bunch of people selling 2, 3 houses, and you're like, hey, I just fit right in. I go,
hmm,
you need to put yourself in environments where selling 200, 300, 400, 500 homes make you a little bit uncomfortable because
right.
you're like, I don't know if I'm going to get accepted or they're going to kick me out of this group, right? And
That's right.
and so for people that are looking at this going, hey, I'm selling 20, 30 houses a year, and that's okay, that's fine. But the secret to getting to selling 200, 300, 400 houses is to go hang out with those people and go put yourself in rooms that make you feel uncomfortable at first
Yeah,
until you feel comfortable and you're accepted there, because environment, you will become who you surround yourself with.
yeah, for sure. And And I tell you, and we've been very, very fortunate to be in some amazing rooms. And the really cool thing though is when you do get in those rooms, the amount of I don't know, man. They're just givers, man. They they're cheering for you. Maybe
Yeah.
because maybe I know I do today. I look back at people. I look at people as like, man, I was there, and if I can move you from point A
Completely.
to point B, and you don't have to go through some of the pain that I did,
Yeah.
and that's it's huge, and it is right. It's just get in that right environment, get with the right people.
Yeah.
That man, this is real estate. We do not need to recreate the wheel. All right.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there doing it already. So yeah, that,
Yeah,
that
and,
is
and,
huge.
and people, and usually the best are willing to share, right? Because
Yeah,
they come from an abundance mindset. The people that are selling just a couple houses, they're trying to protect it. They've got that
yeah,
scarcity, white knuckling it. You're like, Okay, hey, you know what? No one's gonna come try and sell, steal your secret on how to sell two houses a year, like
that's
with
right.
your button, right?
Yeah,
Like that's your
yeah,
secret. No one's gonna come steal that idea. That's all yourself, right? But
that's right.
the
That's right.
biggest people, they're always willing to share.
Yeah. Well, and and sometimes you'll hear some murmurs or whatever, and people like, I don't want my competition to find out. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I mean, guys, it's real estate. I mean,
yeah,
show me your proprietary product, right?
yeah.
I mean, it's really it's you. It's what you bring to the table and your leadership that makes the difference.
Well, I would even say, yeah, there are some things. I think we've worked on some proprietary things over the years, right? And I think people have knocked them off. And I think we've shared, right? We've said, hey, this is what we're doing. But what they don't get is that because we've done that, we've taken the action, like you talked about at the beginning, it opens up another door to kind of the next opportunity, the
Yeah,
next thing. And while they're back trying to execute on the thing we did 2 or 3 years ago, we're like, oh, yeah, that works. It still works, but this new thing works even better, right? It's like,
that's right.
so, but if you'd never executed, you'd never be able to get to the next, step, right? It's like that flashlight only shines a little bit in front of you. You've got to keep doing that. You can't shine it behind you. You've got to always be going forward. And it opens up that next step.
Yeah, it does. There's always another wall to jump
Yeah.
over, man. There always
Yeah.
is. There's another level, and probably one of the biggest obstacles I think that most just real estate people, because kind of there's that entrepreneur spirit, there's
Yeah.
creativity and all that stuff, but then we get stuck with our own limited beliefs
Absolutely. Yeah.
for sure, and so
Yeah.
mindset it is definitely in the top two of like that. You got to get your head right, but environment helps, right?
It's environment and it's about, mindset. And we go towards, like, people go, oh, well, do you do it or do you think it first, right? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg or whatever.
Yeah,
And the more you study it, the more you realize that you can actually force yourself to a good mindset. You can force yourself into believing something, right? Is a lot of people go, well, I just don't know. This is fine. It's going to work for Jason because it's his work. It's where he's able to charge that because of his area. He's able to do it because he's had a big team forever or whatever, right? He's able to do it because of his stunning good looks, which I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it is not the stunning good looks.
I guarantee you that.
Right.
There's no
But
question.
but you look at it and it's, well, it's by choosing and acting like a great agent, by acting like a great team leader and saying, what would a great team leader do right now?
Hmm.
What would a team leader, I remember when I was building a team, I hired my first assistant and I was like, hey, we're going to have a team meeting like Wednesdays at 9 a.m. And I remember him going, dude, we hang out all day. We work together. Why are we having a team meeting? It's just me and you. I said, because we're building something, right? It was
That's
like
right.
that idea of we're building this mindset of we're building this. At the time, I said, there's going to be like 10 of us at some point. And he's like, you crazy. Like, there's not going to be 10, but if you don't have that mindset, you're not
That's
going to
right.
get there. But when you do that and you start acting as if, then what
Yeah,
happens, your mind goes, oh, you believe this, I'm going to make that happen,
that's
right?
right.
And so you've got to figure out what you want, and then you've got to start taking those actions towards it. And then as you do, that's when you start to believe it. You don't believe it and then just start doing it. That's not how that works. You've got to decide this target and saying, I don't know how to get there. And then you've got to start acting and moving towards it. And then what happens? Then your mind believes it because it starts to see clues that you're actually doing this. All right. You froze up a little bit. I'm going to keep going with environment matters, right? Because the environment does matter, right? Kind of like what we just said is like, what is supporting you outside there, right? What's supporting you outside that, once you decide this is what I'm going to do. Like, for example, a long time ago, I decided, it was stupid, but I decided I was going to run a marathon, and I hate running, right? My mindset was I hated running. So I started reading these books, which that told me, it started saying, hey, what would a runner do? A runner would figure out the path, right? I went and drove the path of the marathon. And then what did I do? I went out and I bought expensive shoes and expensive socks and running stuff. Because why? Because that's what a runner would do. And so I started seeing myself as a runner, and I finished it, even though I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm not a runner. I don't do this. And so you've got to start putting cues and clues around you that say, hey, this is who I am. So if you're wanting to build a big team, go to team events, hang out with team leaders, go do these things, because as you do, you're going to start to see those clues and start to believe it. When you believe it, then you'll subconsciously just act, and it won't be forced anymore. I think you're muted out there, Jace. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we're good. Yep.
What I was saying is I broke the internet. If you it is freaked out. I don't know what happened. So anyway, my whole system like crashed. So anyway,
hey, that's okay. You know me. You just put a microphone in front of me. I'll just keep talking. So
it's perfect. The hamsters aren't turning fast enough. So, but so now that we have, okay, so we got the environment, the right mindset, we're getting in the right rooms and all this stuff. Now, what do I do to get out of obscurity? Like, if I want to sell a lot of homes, a lot of people need to know me. If I want to build a big team, a lot of people need to know me.
Again, so you start looking at clues, right? If you want to sell a lot of houses, for instance, I've never really been big into farming, but I think this example is pretty good. Let's say I farm an environment of 100 houses, and you farm same demographics, same psychographics, everything else of 10,000 homes, same pieces, same offer,
right,
same everything else. You're going to sell more than I am. Why? Just raw numbers, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that you look at the biggest teams and the biggest team leaders, they have the most followers on social media. They have someone that's a low producer, they're probably going to have 300 friends on Facebook. They're going to have their aunts or uncles, and they're going to say, well, I don't want people to see me. It's like, okay, well, then you're going to have very skinny kids because you're not going to eat much, right?
That's right.
You have to look and start no longer see social media as this place that you're going to spend time. You've got to look at this as like a TV station, that you're a producer of social media. You're no longer just a consumer of it. You're a producer. So that you go out and you're producing to create an audience, right? Just like, why does the Super Bowl get to charge the most money? Well, because there's the most eyeballs and most people are watching it. So your job every day is to go out and to create stuff that people want to see, right? Yeah. To create interviews like this, or to be able to do things. And as you do, the more eyeballs, then you're going to get more, whether you're looking to build a team, you're going to have more agents that are looking to, well, I want to join your team. Maybe it's more sellers. Maybe it's more buyers, right? The better looking the house at a better value, the more buyers are going to be attracted to it, right? You can have a great house, but if 100 people know about it, but I put it out to 10,000, I'm going to have more people, right? And so you've got to start looking at this. And then one thing that really changed for me, because I really am I don't really enjoy social media. And then you look at it, is they're just people. It's just a communication, just like a salesperson that says, I don't like the phone. That's like saying you don't like money, because it's just a communication tool. You could go knock on doors, but the phone is faster. Social media is just that same way. But someone said something. I think it was almost offhanded. They said, you're being judged because I wasn't really on Instagram. I had posted like 8 things in 3 years. I just didn't like it.
Right.
And they said, well, people pull that up and look at it, and they realize that you've got just 200 people that follow you, and they're judging you. And I was like, at first I was kind of annoyed. I was like, well, screw them. They shouldn't be judging me. Judge not, right?
Yeah.
I was like, they shouldn't do that. And then I realized that's the same thing as like if you go and a seller pulls you up on Zillow or something like that, and they see you've got, maybe you didn't include any of your home sales on there.
Yeah, that's right.
They're going to assume you're not doing anything. You've got no 5-star reviews. They're going to assume you don't have any. And so you could be the best in the world, but if people judge you as you're not involved, you're like, oh, I'm not on the internet, then you're going to lose money. And so we've got to, if we're true business people, we've got to embrace the idea that people are judging us based on our social media chops, right? Based on, are people following you or not? And so even if you dislike it, you're hurting your business if you're not putting that out there. That's my advice.
Oh, 100%. And there is a whole generation coming up behind us that are future home buyers and sellers, but also
You calling us old, Chase?
Yeah, well, it's the truth will set you free.
Oh no.
So hey,
It's
man,
true,
but we're adapting. We're nimble. We're jumping in there, and I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I love the phone. I always enjoyed it. There was no internet when I started real estate. We cold called right out of the old crisscross directory and let it rip and door knocked and all that.
Yeah.
And but I'm learning that this too can be fun. This too can be, and so I will say this. I think the pandemic did help because it seems to me now social media is definitely more real and authentic than it was before, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. It does feel like that.
But prior to that, I think it was more, we were still thinking it's got to be like TV commercial quality.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you know what? People just really want to know who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? And so, that's really it. All right. Well, thank you, sir. Great information. This is how you can get in touch. Go to Curtis Johnson.
Good to hang out with you, man.
Absolutely. And if you got additional questions, one thing I do know about Curtis is he is always a giver. And if you got a question, you get stuck, he's a guy that can help you get unstuck for sure. You can always, drop a comment here. I will make sure that he gets a question. If we can't get it answered right here, we'll do that. But man, I am so looking forward to hanging out with you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good, man.
But I got a big surprise.
Uh-oh.
My wife is coming.
Wow, that's
right.
Yeah, like I should bring mine. That would be like 2 craziness things happening all at once, right?
She knows nothing about real estate, and she is just gonna come and hang out at whatever, the beach, while we're doing our thing or whatever.
You're like, Florida's happening.
Absolutely. So it'll be good. I'm excited for her to meet you and some of the guys there and gals. So anyway, my man, thank you as always. And
I appreciate you putting out some good information. Like I enjoy all this stuff, and you're always, if you guys don't know Jason Bramlett well enough, he's a difference maker in this industry. Keep digging and keep learning and listening. He's impacted my business dramatically over the years, and love you, buddy.
All right, man. Love you too. We'll see you soon. Everybody be well. Make an awesome day.